In my last Harrisburg video, we saw 3 trains on Norfolk Southern's Harrisburg to Hagerstown, Maine, the Lurgan branch. In addition, we chased Gettysburg and Northern Railroad's newest locomotive making its way down to Gettysburg out of Carlisle. In this video, we'll be taking a look at a handful of spots on the lower portion of Norfolk Southern's Pittsburgh line to Pittsburgh. As previously stated, Harrisburg is simultaneously the capital of Pennsylvania and the crossroads of Norfolk Southern. A total of 8 main lines all converge over the Susquehanna River, including Amtrak's Northeast Corridor to Philadelphia. Right now, we're passing by a critical point on the Norfolk Southern system. Enola Yard, the main yard for this portion of the Keystone Division. Situated on the banks of the Susquehanna River, this yard handles trains to and from Conway, Harrisburg, Reading, Allentown, Binghamton, Hagerstown, New Jersey, and the South. Enola has seen its classification bowl and hump track closed and reopened numerous times over the course of precision scheduled railroading's existence on this railroad. However, the yard continues to reassert its dominance to the Big Horse. And even the highest of executives know that closing it down could mean certain financial damage to this Fortune 500 Class 1 railroad. In addition to Enola, there's 2 intermodal facilities within the area, those being Harrisburg GI8 and Rutherford Intermodal Facility in Rutherford. There's also Shiremanstown Yard on the Shippensburg Secondary, which handles a portion of the Harrisburg area locals. A couple other Harrisburg landmarks include Banks Siding, which is 32,568 feet in length, spanning from CP Banks east of Cove to CP Cannon in Duncannon, and Rockville Bridge, which carries the Pittsburgh line over the Susquehanna River. I bet you get it by this point. A lot of trains pass through Harrisburg every day, and there's a ton of places to see them. And admittedly, I wish I'd have gone to some more of those places. However, to say that I'm disappointed with the footage that I do have would be false, as I'm really happy with the camcorder so far. Me and my buddy ZH22 were up before the sunrise, and by the time that sun came up, we were passing by Enola Yard as seen earlier. As we got west into Marysville, we caught up with a westbound coal drag, NS 593. This train is destined for the yard in Shire Oaks, Pennsylvania, to be loaded at Bailey Mine outside of Waynesburg and sent back east to Canton Yard in Baltimore for export. On the head end of this train is EMD SD70 Ace number 1096 and AC44C6M number 4144 with the Thoroughbred logo plastered on the side after engine compartment repairs. Also, a yellow-painted Pier 6 50th anniversary commemorative coal hopper is positioned 3rd in consist. Pier 6 is the heart of Norfolk Southern's Lambert's Point coal docks in Norfolk, Virginia, having been around for well over 50 years by this point. We finally surpass the head end of the train at the west end of Marysville and duck in at Cove for the shot. As 593 approaches, we see the rear DPU of NS-18N as it awaits a new crew to head east to New Jersey. Even though Harrisburg has a fuel pad where trains can take on fresh crews and fuel, that area can get very busy very quickly, so dispatchers will often hold trains in this siding for their turn on the pad, or sometimes swap crews if a crew change is imminent. We then move westward to Brett's Lane and Aqueduct, milepost PT-124. Coming east on track 2 is NS 10K, daily manifest out of Conway for Allentown, Pennsylvania. A few minutes later on track 1 is NS-12G, another manifest out of Conway, this time for Enola, Pennsylvania. NS-4368 is the lead unit of this train. I've seen this unit previously, as it used to be equipped with a K3LA narrow font horn. I caught it leading 16G back on National Train Day 2022. Since then, it was stolen and initially was replaced by a standard 3rd Gen K5LA. And now I don't know what happened to that thing, because now it magically has a K5HLR2 3rd Gen facing backwards. And it sounds mighty fine if you ask me. I hope nobody steals it. Coming west is the 593 that we saw earlier in Marysville and Cove, now up to speed. I tell you, an ace leader sounds really good at about 55 miles an hour. Behind 593 is 591, another Baltimore to Shire Oaks coal drag. I'm honestly a little surprised that they didn't combine the two trains since they're going to the same place basically at the same time, but that's not up to me to decide. Trains 590 through 597 are all Baltimore-based coal trains. The reason being is because there's a lot of coal that gets exported to other countries there, thus the need for a lot of trains.
Something on the rear. Oh wait, that's something.
I guess they are doing something on this track.
Hey, if we have Loram coming through, that would slap.
That would.
That'd be so good if we get the rail grinder. Oh my god.
Yeah. Moving good. And away he goes. A little bit later, we hear NS-45M leaving the fuel pad over the radio, and eventually he shows up to our location. A singular one-engine wonder C6M pulls this train. 45M is empty grain off the Delmarva Central in Tasker, Delaware for ADM in Montpelier, Indiana. The night before, we heard that NS-965, the safety train, was making its way north to Harrisburg for a special event. Initially, it was supposed to run up the Lurgan branch after dark, however an unexpected layover had it tying down for the night in Hagerstown, Maryland. A crew wouldn't end up being called until 6 a.m. this morning, and the crew was out of Harrisburg, meaning they'd have to deadhead all the way to Hagerstown in a cab so they could get on the train and take it back home. It didn't end up leaving Hagerstown till around 8 a.m. Once we finally heard that it left, we started for the Lurgan branch after the passing of 6E4. We set up on the side of Winding Hill Road just west of CP Ross at milepost LG7 for the 965 with NS 911 and 5642, both of their first responders locomotives, and 8 safety cars for Harrisburg. I find it ironic that when we arrived at the Lurgan branch, there were people trespassing on the NS right-of-way to get a good view of the safety train. Just think about that for a minute. Anyways, here's a better shot of Enola Yard as we're heading west back to the Pittsburgh line. We eventually set up at Blue Mountain Outfitters in Marysville, just east of CP Banks at milepost PT 115. A combo coal train with distributed power and over 200 loaded coal buckets sits idle awaiting traffic to clear up over Rockville Bridge. Eventually, NS-28X with a UP AC-44 trailing second heads east towards the fuel pad for a crew change. It's become tradition for me to catch Amtrak's eastbound Pennsylvania number 42 rounding the curve as it passes through Cove. The camcorder does a great job capturing this shot. It's back to Aqueduct for NS 257 with an SD70 ACC leader. This train, formerly the 23M, starts out in Bayview Yard in Baltimore, Maryland as a UPS train. It goes to Harrisburg's GI8 intermodal facility and drops off the UPS. There it also picks up a new consist to take to Union Pacific's Global 2 intermodal facility in Chicago. Today's train has a Hub Group 50th anniversary container in the consist. Coming out of Enola is Daily Manifest 11V for Conway. You'll notice that the power for this train, NS 4114 and NS 4368, is the exact same power that came off the 12G that we saw this morning. Once the 12G arrived in Enola and the train was broken down into the yard, the power was turned and burned and sent right back to Conway on the 11V.
Track 2, no defects. Total axle 426.
Rounding the curve out of Newport is yet another cold drag, NS 590 to Baltimore with an ace duo on point and a rather happy engineer. Now watch as Amtrak's westbound Pennsylvania number 43 virtually appears out of thin air as it sprints through Aqueduct.
Norfolk Southern milepost 122.6. Track 2, no defects. Total axle 32. Track 2, no defects. Total axle 32.
And now for a meet between eastbound Manifest 10G for Enola and westbound Intermodal 29G for Chicago. We move back east to the station at Duncannon, Pennsylvania for a few more trains there along the river in the evening light before I have to retreat back to Ohio. NS 259 is our first customer to round the bend. The Duncannon station was built in 1902 by the Pennsylvania Railroad. It served both freight and passenger trains in its heyday. Eventually it was abandoned well before Conrail became a thing, and later was renovated back in 2006. Presently it's owned by Blue Ridge Communications and houses their office right next to PT 119 of the now Norfolk Southern Pittsburgh line. Duncannon is situated right on the banks of the Susquehanna River. Across the way on the other bank is the NS Buffalo line out of Northumberland and Buffalo, which joins the Pittsburgh line at Rockville Bridge. Here at Duncannon, you get prime views of the trains over there. We end up seeing two in this video. The first one is NS 632 off of the R.J. Corman in Keating, PA for Canton Yard in Baltimore. Please excuse the shaky camera work. Behind 632 is another southbound, 11Z out of Binghamton, New York for Roanoke, Virginia. Rear DP.
Is there a rear DP?
Mm-hmm.
What is it, mister?
Looks like a Jiva.
Now wait. That's a C6 now.
Oh, Jesus Christ.